This is something that is probably the main Korean thing that I haven't seen used much at all, even on the Grandmaster Foreigner servers. It's just not done. It's just a stylistic difference. Even someone who uses drops late game, like Hydra, he drops Hydralisks. Very few people I've seen drop Banelings on the Foreigner servers, both from pro replays and just from my own experiences. Now, if we look at the army size, we'll see that Zerg is maxed fairly far ahead of the Protoss. The Protoss is 40 supply behind, roughly. We see Zerg has his 4th and 5th bases almost going, except this 5th base doesn't have any workers on it. We see Zerg going for a lot of Zerglings as well as a hive. Now, I wonder why he made this spire that he hasn't used it yet. So far, that's just a 200 gas investment that hasn't gone to any use. But these Baneling bombs are extremely scary to the Protoss army. We could see, oh, but some beautiful Psionic Storms. Right there, he's using something that's I've seen Huck do that's really, really cool. Using Psi Storms like force fields, using them to control space, either forcing retreats with them, or even better, using them to corner someone in, removing retreat routes using Psi Storms. However, these Banelings have not been able to go to any use. We're just seeing Sickness completely micro his way through the Zerg army. Now these Banelings are being dropped onto the Archons, but the Archons are doing the Archon job of tanking a lot of damage. This Void Ray has 1 kill. And currently the Zerg appears to be slightly out of position. He assumed his roaches would last longer. He's made an Infestor, the money unit, lately. And we see some great Blink Micro there to deny the Zerglings a surround. That's the most important thing you can do with Blink Stalkers, because Zerglings are the only thing that really hard counter them. I mean, Hydras do, but at the same time, if you have more more armor upgrades and the Hydras do attack upgrades, then Stalkers win. So the only thing you have to really be worried about is blinking away from Zerglings. We see Zergs doing something absolutely brilliant, either coming in here to a counterattack or positioning for a flank with Zerglings at the next time he engages his army at the Watchtower. We see NexSickness so far is still about 30 supply behind the Protoss, behind the Zerg. We see this army. I very much like this flanking maneuver because either A, it's going to get a great flank on the army and some beautiful game sense here by Sickness. If we look back in the base, we see a greater spire going down. We also see armor upgrades have been completely researched, and I'm wondering what he's going to research next. +2 missile or +3 melee attack. He was going Broodlord's melee attack is a generally preferred thing. That was a great thing to do because it got him positional advantage. By moving the things over there, he was either going to get a great surround with a flank, or he was going to be able to move his army where he wanted to. Some Banelings moving in here for a Baneling bust, but there's a lot of cannons and a lot of High Templar. High Templar stalling the choke brilliantly. Still 3 Banelings managed to get into the mineral line, and some huge Baneling explosions right there. Wow, that killed a bunch of probes. However, at the same time, the Zerg may have overinvested in Banelings, because right now his flank was just shut down, and the Zerg is behind by about 25 supply. I don't know how I feel about this, but the Zerg, of course, remaxing very quickly. He appears to be trying to transition into Broodlords. As soon as this Greatest Fire is done, then he can go the Broodlord Corruptor Infestor or the Broodlord Infestor Hydralisk. 2 very dangerous, very strong compositions that it's incredibly difficult to beat. Now, those 2 things have 2 different roles. Broodlord Corruptor Infestor is more of anti-Terran Death Ball because Void Rays are very, very good. And the Broodlord Infestor Hydralisk is, in my opinion, a little bit better versus Protoss because Hydralisks die quickly. So Broodlords create Broodlings. Broodlings draw aggro. What that means is that if you get maybe 6, 7 Broodlords throwing down Broodlings a lot, unless the person has to sit there and completely micro individually hit the Hydras, and the Hydras can be sitting back, dealing damage, doing their job. And it looks like, yes, he will be doing that. He's still getting the +3 ground carapace. I've not seen a +3 attack for either melee or ranged, which I would like to see considering he has plenty of money for it. We see a lot of Broodlords in this composition here. 6 Broodlords. Do they have any attack upgrades? They're currently getting one. I would have rather seen armor upgrades because Broodlord attack isn't all that important, but hey, to each their own. We see the Zerglings moving in for potentially a great surround. A fungal growth there. Perfect, absolutely beautiful fungal growth. But at the same time, it appears that someone may have made a select error. Get it? Select error. And that he produced too many Broodlords, not enough anti-air units. He needs more Hydralisks. Some great Zergling use right there, but these Void Rays just kept NexSickness in this game. Meanwhile, we see NexSickness gearing up to take his 5th and 6th base. This is a very dangerous army right now, but at the same time, until you get a critical mass of those Hydras, these Broodlords are vulnerable, and the Broodlords are the keystone unit. You either need more Infestors or more Hydralisks. But, oh my gosh, these High Templar are getting caught way out of position. That was 450 gas loss right there. And they have a ton of energy too. This is looking very bad for NexSickness, but at the same time, NexSickness's upgrades are terrific. Some weird Broodlord stuff happening right there, where the Broodlings just kind of hovered. We see a lot of cannons being placed down, something that's getting more and more popular, and I would say is nearly standard now, but some good Sonic Storms there, doing a little bit of damage to the Broodlords. Every little bit counts. We see a sort of cute army here for the Zerg. Not a very big army, but a very effective army, and we see these Broodlords being used to maximum effectiveness. Meanwhile, this proxy base and this base are both amazingly staying up. The Zerg appears to be concerned not with actually killing his opponent, but just with not with harassing his opponent, but only with killing him. These are a lot of Void Rays, however, and those 6 Void Rays may turn the tide of this battle in Protoss' favor. Protoss laying down some big Psionic Storms. The Hydras need to get out of there. Oh my gosh, he killed so much right there. But at the same time, the Zerg can remax so quickly. The Zerg launching down many a Broodlord and many a Hydralisk, shooting up at the Void Rays. There's a bunch of High Templar over here, and a monstrous amount of Stalkers just warped in. A great blink forward, but that may have been a bit premature, because now all these units can get a better positional advantage. The Infestor got feedback in a great use, and huge Psionic Storms. He needs to keep these Void Rays alive if he wants to win, but it looks like the Zerg just has too much strength in army. We see the Zerg continuing to pump Zerglings, Roaches, Corruptors, plus getting +3 attack. Has he gotten Adrenal Glands? Let's check. He has not yet gotten Adrenal Glands. Adrenal Glands make Zerglings so much more effective. They become, it's like the Blue Flame upgrade for Hellions. They're just amazing. Broodlords, like Broodlings, behave weirdly when they're in the air. We see a great counterattack coming in from Zerg, but this may be way too many cannons. Guess what? It is way too many cannons. Holy cannons, Batman! Now, there's many a Broodlord over here. Let's look at the kill counts. 3, 2, 2, 3. So the Broodlords have gotten 10 kills total, but that's not what's important. What's important is that they can protect the Hydralisks. Now these Stalkers, somewhat of a miss micro, but there's a lot of Void Rays here, and it looks like the Zerg has never adequately gotten a way to respond to those Void Rays. This is just not quite enough Hydralisks. He's producing more Hydralisks as well as an Ultralisk Cavern. I don't like this. I say you need to invest in some anti-air, and guess what? Ultralisks aren't anti-air. Trying to flank around with these Banelings, do they have building autocast on? No, they don't. He might just burrow them for fun. He does in fact have burrow. We see many a Broodlord moving out. We see the Zerg, or pardon me, the Protoss still is just going with Templar, Stalker, Void Ray, which is something I didn't expect to work this well, but guess what? It does. Good micro there with those Banelings, but it looks like, oh, this pylon wall is gorgeous. Boom! Guess what? You don't even supply block them. He has more than 200. Taking out 3 cannons there, which means the Zergling counterattack could be more effective now. We see chitinous plating going down, meaning upgrade for the Ultralisk. I want to maintain that Ultralisks plus Broodlord, surprisingly, isn't actually all that good. It's decent, but it's not that good. It's way better to go Infestor and Hydra and maybe Muta, Corruptor, but investing in the Broodlord at this point is no point, because or investing in the Ultralisk, because you have so much ground superiority. Some decent harassment going on over here, but that's not the base that the Protoss is invested in. This is. The Zerg has not yet gotten his +3 missile attack upgrade. He's only getting +2 right now. But the Zerg might be on 3/3/3 ground very soon. He could also get +3 flyer and be devastating. That's why he went Ultralisks, because, oh, but good Psi Storms, because you can't move Broodlords away. A great feedback as well. Are there enough Hydras here? But at the same time, are there enough Stalkers is the better question. Stalkers melting before the Hydralisk army. Hydras with 3 armor, are very strong, but the force fields are a great space controlling spell. Are these Void Rays, can they hold on long enough to defend the Protoss player to get up his mothership? I certainly hope so. You want to know why? Because motherships kick ass. Alright, right now, Zerg slight supply advantage, but all these Overlords are very low on health. They're doing a good job of drawing aggro, and some huge Psi Storms. Oh my god, this one Broodlord is the only thing left. But at the same time, does it matter? 50 Zerglings being morphed in. Do they have Adrenal Glands yet? They do not yet have Adrenal Glands. For someone who's going such a Zergling-heavy composition, he really could invest more in those Zergling upgrades. These Archons should be able to rip these Zerglings apart. with their splash damage, but at the same time, the Zerglings with +3 attack are able to do quite a bit of damage. And will the Archon fall? No, the Archon survives with no damage taken to its non-shield components. We see the Zerg now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bases. However, only 1, 2, 3 of those are mining. Oh, 4. He has 4 mining bases. This one's essentially not mining. Same with this one. So the Zerg is sort of in a weird position. Even though he has a huge amount of minerals banked, he needs to start remining again, or he needs to kill all his workers and just try to kill the Protoss. Protoss retreating to this cannon bank, which is very, very, very smart. And let's look at the kill counts. Those Psystorms were huge. 11 kills right there. But at the same time, a great, great play here by the Zerg, moving in, just lucking himself into this place where he can corner these Stalkers, but the Mothership has entered. The most awesome thing to see in a pro game besides carriers, a Mothership. And you want to know what's even more awesome? A neural parasited Mothership. Yes, cloaked Zerg units. That's going to be awesome. Now, the Zerg doesn't actually have that much stuff. He has more Overlords than he does Zerglings. He has, like, 1, 10... He has 15 attacking units. Pardon me, production tab. But he is making quite a few more. And yes, we are seeing carriers. Awesome. This is the late game we've all been hoping for. A very cool, heavy tech play where we can finally see a lot of interesting stuff happen. Now, the Mothership no longer can do the Archon Toilet, which was, of course, devastating. But the Mothership can still cloak the units, which is annoying. Now, I don't know if Zerg has, like, enough actual stuff to challenge the Protoss here. He has a lot of supply-heavy units, but he doesn't actually have that many units. And so the Zerg, therefore the Protoss going with lots of things that are good at dealing a lot of damage to one target, very much benefits from the Zerg's composition. All Corruptors Zerglings right now would win this game, because the Zerglings would just whip in, destroy all the ground. They're so cheap, you can produce them en masse, and then the Corruptors can just deal with the air. But it appears that instead the Zerg is going for Ultralisks with their 5 armor, Infestors, a few more Corruptors, and a bunch of Hydralisks. The Hydralisks do not yet have their +3 attack. It is just starting right now. Same with air attack level 2. We see that the carriers now have their Interceptor speed upgrade, as well as +1 air and +1 air attack and no air armor. This is a dangerous situation to be in if I am Zerg. I have not yet seen this Mothership, which is of course lagging the game. Protoss is allowed to play completely in the tech tree, and will we see whose tier 3 reigns supreme, Zerg or Protoss? Find out right after this. We see a lot of Zergling, or a lot of Overlords moving over here. Almost every base on this, map is taken. Not all of them are mining, and right now, Zerg appears to be a little bit unsure of what he wants to do. He could try to bust with these Ultralisks. He could try to go Ultralisk Corruptor, which is a composition I'm surprised we don't see more. Feels a little bit like Tank Viking.